Hey friend, welcome back to the Watchaholic, a podcast all about the movies and shows that we grew up with and the ones that premiered yesterday. I am so excited to dive into today's episode because y'all, this is my first episode. Wow, I can't believe I'm saying this. 2022, baby. Here I am, lock and loaded. And since this is my first episode, I figured I should, I don't know, introduce myself and tell you how I became a watchaholic. When did my love of movies and shows begin? Why did I create this podcast? And maybe I'll even talk about my favorite movies and shows growing up. But before we get into it, I do want to start off each podcast with a bit of a movie and TV news. Yes, it's going to be a segment called Say What? Because when you hear something that you weren't expecting, you kind of say, wait, what? No freaking way. Or, wow, that's awesome. So I decided to create this segment. So the first bit of news that I want to talk about is the new Batgirl photo being released. Yes. Oh my God. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's this awesome photo of Batgirl. It's going to be a new movie that's going to be released on HBO Max. And it stars, and this is such a cool thing to say, but it stars Leslie Grace. And she was in The Heights, if you've seen it. She was Nina, the main character of Nina in that movie. And I am so happy to hear about this because, y'all, Latin representation up in Batman. Like, what in the actual hell? I can't believe we're living in a world like this. It's actually mind-blowing. But yeah, she's Dominican and she's from the Bronx. I'm not from the Bronx, I'm from Queens, but holla at your girl in New York City. That's where I was born. And even though I live in Canada now, it's still like my home no matter what, and I will always rep being a New Yorker. So yes, for Latin representation in the DC universe. That is so awesome, guys. We are moving on up in the world. Another batch of news that came out, Santa Claus. The Santa Claus is going to have a limited series on Disney Plus next year. I think it's next year, or is it this year? I don't know, but they're starting to work on it. And guys, The Santa Claus is one of my favorite Disney movies. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, I don't know if you've been living under a rock, but The Santa Claus is a Disney classic Christmas film and you have to watch it. But basically what they've said is that the Santa Claus is going to star Tim Allen as the Santa Claus. He is back for this limited series, and I think it's about him. He's turning 65 and he's realizing that he is going to be too old to be Santa Claus forever, so he goes on this hunt for a new Santa Claus to replace him. So I am super excited for that. I'm in there like swimwear. I'm in there. Oh man, this other piece of news came out, and I actually was a little bit hyped about this. I'm not gonna lie, but they released the trailer to Bel Air. Basically, it's going to be a dramatic take on the famous comedic show called Fresh Prince of Bel Air, starring Will Smith. For those of you who don't know, I think it was 2019, somebody released a trailer for a more dramatic version of what they would think the Fresh Prince of Bel Air would be like. And basically, Will Smith saw that, and yeah, they made it into a new show. Crazy. Now we live in a world where you can literally post anything on social media and anyone can see it. And next thing you know, your film, whatever it is that you put out there, can be seen and taken seriously. These are some of the, I guess, the pros of social media is that, everyone sees everything. So put it out there. If you have an idea, might as well go with it, right? But yeah, this show is going to be streaming on Peacock on February 13th if you're interested in watching that. I don't have Peacock, so I don't know how I'm going to watch that, but I will find a way. I will, because it actually looks really, really interesting. I'm really interested in seeing that. And my last piece of news, and I always like to leave it on a sexy bam ending, and it is Milo Ventimiglia got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, if you guys don't know who Milo Ventimiglia is, I highly recommend you look him up, and you'll probably see his face and be like, oh my god, I know exactly who that is. And that is Jess from Gilmore Girls, and he also plays Jack on This Is Us. Oh my god, I'm going to have a Gilmore Girls episode, but I am Team Jess all the way, even though it wasn't the right timing in the beginning. But Team Jess. Like it was Team Jess for me for always. But yeah, he got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's really, really cool. But I don't know if you guys have ever been to Hollywood before, but the Hollywood Walk of Fame isn't as glamorous as they make it seem on television. It's actually really dirty. And it makes me really sad because you have some like amazing stars out there, but like it's actually a very like it's not the most glamorous place to be. But good for the actors who get to have their star on this Walk of Fame, as they like to call it. But yeah, I'm very, very happy for Mr. Milo Ventimiglia. He's actually one of my favorite people slash actors that I like to say that I'd love to meet one day, just because not only is he gorgeous, but he just seems like a really cool dude. And I don't know, over time, it's not just about the looks, but just somebody who interviews well. I'm kind of like, I'd like to meet you someday. I'd like to meet you. But anyway, that is my segment on basically say what. So, guys, I want to talk about, next thing I want to talk about really is my love of TV shows and movies. How did it begin? How did we get here? 33 years in the making. How did we get here? But basically, the way it started for me was I started going to the movies as a child. I was a very young age. I went with my parents a lot. Every holiday, we would spend hours at the movie theater. We were definitely that family that, don't tell anyone, but we definitely snuck into the movies, because this was back in the day when movies kind of all ended up like stacking at the right time. Now they make it very hard for you to sneak into movies by overlapping the time. Before, like, you would be able to watch a full movie and then go and watch the next one because it would just end and start, like perfect timing in between. But that's basically how I started watching movies. I watched a lot of movies at home, obviously, but I think it was because I went to the movie theater so often with my families, with my parents. It was just a fun activity for us to do. It's actually also how my my hate for horror movies began, because my dad would force me to watch quote unquote horror movies. To me, that was like the Alien series. That stuff was scary as a kid. And my dad would be like, no, we're going to go and watch this while your mom's going and watch something else. And yeah, so I think that's probably why I don't like horror movies at all. It is not my genre. Don't ask me to go watch a scary movie, because I will not. But I will say, when it comes to TV shows, I am a proud Latina, so I grew up at a very young age also watching soap operas, aka telenovelas. I was that kid that watched everything on Channel 41, aka Univision. Y'all from the East Coast, y'all from New York, y'all gonna know exactly what I mean by Univision and the Canal 41. I watched all the soap operas, like literally all the teenage soap operas or the kids soap operas. I watched them. I watched soap operas until like all through high school. I was that high schooler who watched her telenovela at 3 o'clock. And this was back in the day, guys. This was back in the day when you had to put a VCR in and make sure the timer was on for the right time to record on your tape at 3 o'clock. And guys, I will say, I'm so much of a watchaholic that if that telenovela did not record at 3 p.m., it would be the end of the world. Because it's not like you had DVR. Like that's it, you missed the episode. So yeah, I think that really sparked my love for TV shows. And basically all through my teens and all through college, I was that type of person who would go and watch the movies opening night, midnight. I was there. I remember I've seen Harry Potter opening night. I've seen like every single Orlando Bloom movie at opening night. So many, anything that was a big hit that was supposed to be coming out that year, you better believe I was at that movie theater with my ticket, getting ready to watch a movie. I was that person, and I don't regret any moment out of it, because it made me who I am today. But yeah, my God. Oh, and something else. Obviously, my next topic here is why do I actually even love movies? Why did I continue to follow into watching all these movies at midnight? Why did I actually go to the movie theater? Like, what did I enjoy about movies and still enjoy? And basically, for me, I have a theater background, and I studied acting. And to me, I love watching actors, bring to life these stories that they can take you out of this world and that you are presently living in. They can make you laugh, they can make you cry, they can make you deeply think about topics, or they can, for me, I think a big part is they made me into a hopeless romantic, that make you think that love and people like this on the TV actually exist, that these guys are going to do these grand gestures for you, and life just isn't like that. And I think I loved that. It kind of provided an escape for me. I just really enjoyed that as a kid, and today it's something I really, really enjoy. And as I've gotten older, actually, I have also loved seeing the hard work that many talented people create. There's sometimes people forget that TV shows, and especially movies, especially if they're animated, it can take years to create, hundreds of hours to create this form of art. It doesn't happen overnight. There's writers out there who write things that can take years before someone picks up their script, a producer picks up their script and says, hey, this is interesting. And then they find a director and it makes it happen. It takes so much time to create this work. And I don't know, but I mean, what about that wouldn't you want to see? I think it's so important for everyone to support this industry. It's not an industry that's easy to break into, no matter what role you play, whether you're a costume designer, whether you're a director, a producer, an actor, the guy who holds the grip. The shit is hard. It's not easy being in the entertainment industry. And I love to watch movies to support the art, to support the people that have poured their heart and soul into this. Obviously, something that's really important to me is starting this podcast. I bet you're wondering, why did I start this podcast? Why did I come up with the word watchaholic? Like, what was the deal, And basically the reason why I started this podcast was because I wanted to talk about movies and shows and the industry with other people, to be able to express the love and sometimes hate of the industry, because sometimes, the industry, has come a long way, but still there are some things that they could work on. But I love sitting and talking about a movie or a show after it's done and hearing other people's point of view. I think the movie industry, the entertainment industry as a whole, really brings people together where they can talk about how they took in that movie. Everyone sees movies in a very different way, and the idea of being able to sit with someone and be able to express with you guys, that feeling. You never know. There could be someone on the other end who feels exactly like you do. And that's why I wanted to start this podcast. I wanted to just talk about the movies and the TV shows that I love, because why the hell not? Am I right? Am I right? I love saying that. Am I right? Am I right? I started a YouTube channel before. It didn't work out really well, but I feel like that kind of became a thing that I would say a lot. Like, am I right? Am I right? I don't know. It just ended up happening, but it was really, really funny. And if you're curious, YouTube is hard, which is why I kind of stopped doing it. I might put these on YouTube so you can watch my podcast as well, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am recording this as we speak just to see if I can turn it into something, but if not, eventually maybe I will. Who knows? But yeah, so the last thing I really want to talk about right now is my favorite movies and shows. I thought you guys would be interested, just be like, oh, I wonder what kind of stuff she likes. As you know, I already told you I do not like horror movies. But my favorite type of movies are actually anything in the fantasy realm or sci-fi fantasy. So I will gladly tell you that Lord of the Rings is my favorite trilogy of all time. Hands down, there's no trilogy that I think is at that level. Obviously, there's Star Wars. That's different. It's more sci-fi, I like to say, more sci-fi. But I think Lord of the Rings is more like just like a fantasy realm, and I absolutely, I love shows and movies, anything that has to do with that fantasy realm. So like elves and witches and sorcery. Like I just find that so interesting. Which, by the way, yes, I am watching The Witcher. I am, and I love that show. Well, we can talk about that in another episode, but I love rom-coms. I grew up watching rom-coms, which is, like I had mentioned before, why I think I am a hopeless romantic. Though, I will say I am in a happy relationship, but something about me just loves romantic comedies. The Wedding Planner with Jennifer Lopez is one of my favorite romantic comedies. I can watch that on repeat all the time. I absolutely love that movie. I love Never Been Kissed. That is another one. Oh my god, I love Never Been Kissed. Like Drew Barrymore and Michael Vartan back in the day. I mean, now he's old, but y'all, Michael Vartan was a hot tea back then. And by the way, he also started Monster-in-Law with Jennifer Lopez, and that was another great rom-com. But he was a good-looking man. God, he was good-looking. You will definitely hear me on this podcast talk about some hot-looking men, because I was, yeah, I'm really into looking at hot men on TV. Your movies, like, if there is somebody hot, you best believe I will be watching. But last but not least, also, obviously, I am a Disney nerd. I love Disney movies. Disney knows how to get me with the tears. Like, holy shit. If you've seen Toy Story 3, that movie, just a mess. The whole movie, I was just a mess. I mean, how dare they make you think that the darn toys are gonna die in a fire-pitted death? Like, only Disney can get away with that. Because holy moly, I really thought they were just gonna kill off all the toys. I was like, oh my god, this is happening. They grabbed hands. Okay, I'm getting off topic, but like when they grabbed hands, I was just like, oh my god, is this happening? Like, are they about to kill off all of these characters? I just couldn't believe it. Oh my god. But animated or live action, I think Disney just knows what they're doing. I will say though, except for the remakes, the live action remakes, I think they should just stop those. They are not my favorites. I will say Aladdin was good, but they just need to stop like making those. Oh my god. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but we've made it to the end. Oh my god, we've made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of like this new show, The Watchaholic. Oh my god, that was so much fun. I hope you had fun. So yeah, where can you find me? Please follow me on Instagram. That's right. You can follow me on Instagram at the Watchaholic Podcast. Please send me your DMs. Let me know what movie, TV show, or anything watchable that you'd like me to cover here on the pod. I'd love to hear what you guys are into. And yeah, because you just like never know. We might just have so much stuff in common, and I think that's what's gonna bring this podcast to life, is just being able to talk about a lot of the same things that we love, and maybe some things that we're not on the same page about. And I would absolutely just love that idea. I might have some guests on from time to time. Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, of course I can't say this. And last but never least, please, 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 don't forget to subscribe, because obviously I just need people to subscribe, so that way I hope that means that they're enjoying my podcast. All right, well, I'm out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye.